All right, today I'm changing the transmission fluid on my 2005 Honda CRV, and it's the same method for all 2002 to 2006 Honda CRVs with a 2.4 liter engine. So they say this has what's called a sealed transmission, but that's not actually the case. If you look, take a peek here with our light, I'll shine it down here between the battery and the airbox. Under this wire, you see that yellow handle. The yellow handle is actually the dipstick tube. So if I reach down in here and pull on that, all right, so you can see we have a dipstick right there. And I don't know when the last time the fluid was changed. I mean, it looks red, but so we're going to do that today. All right, so what you need to do this project is a 3/8 inch drive socket, and I would recommend having a breaker bar, make your life easier. A light, you're gonna need a pan to catch the fluid, and you're gonna need 3.25 quarts, so I have 4 here, of genuine Honda ATF DW-1 fluid. You can either get this at your Honda dealer, or if you want to pay a lot less, you can go and order on Amazon or eBay. Just make sure it's the genuine Honda fluid. You do not want to use anything else in a Honda transmission. All right, so like I said, we already pulled the dipstick. To do this, I'll just say this right off the rip. To do this the way Honda says you should do it, you should actually change the fluid 3 times. So what you would do is do this procedure we're about to do, drive it for a little while, drain all the fluid, replace it with 3.25 quarts, drive it for a while, drain all the fluid, replace it with 3.25 quarts. If you change your transmission fluid often, I say that's not necessary. The reason why is we're not trying to completely get all the fluid out, and when you're only changing 3.25 quarts, you're not changing all the fluid in the transmission. You still have the fluid in the lines that runs to the cooler and throughout the torque converter or wherever else in the transmission. So just keep that in mind. You will not be changing all the fluid out, but if you do it regularly, it's good enough. To me, it's a huge waste to do that. You end up wasting so much brand new fluid, and it's pretty expensive. So just do it every 3 or 4 oil changes. This is actually easier to do than an oil change. So this is not that big of a deal. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So like I said, I already showed you how to get the dipstick out. We're going to go underneath now, and we're going to pull the drain plug. All right, so here we are into the front of the car. If you look, here's our oil pan. Keep going further to the driver's side, right near the front here. You've got this right here. This is your drain plug for your transmission. So get your pan situated underneath it. Then push this plastic out of the way temporarily. All right, so I've got some rust here that's making it hard for this to just slide right in. So I'm gonna brush that out real quick. That way it'll slide it in there. All right, so I've got that in there. Like I said, helps to have a breaker bar just to break it loose. Once it's loose, it's easy. As you can see, get that out of there. Now we can just take it out by hand. While we're in here, you see the drain plug I took out. It's got a lot of debris on it. As long as there's no big metal shavings, that's completely normal. For there to be gunk on there, just take a paper towel. That's a magnet to catch all that normal wear in your transmission. All right, you will need a new crush gasket. I believe that's an 18 millimeter. So we'll put a new one of those on there before we bolt this back up. I'll be realistic, a lot of people reuse those. They flip them around or something to reuse them. Technically, you shouldn't do that. You might have a little leak, but a lot of times people do it and it doesn't leak. So if you don't have one, it may not be the end of the world, but you really should replace it. I'll be replacing it with a new one. All right, so once it's drained out, put your new crush washer on, get everything cleaned up, and then we'll thread the drain plug back in. All right, then we'll torque this back down. It's got to be tight to where you start to crush that crush washer, and you'll know. So it's like real snug, and then you give it a good, put a little torque onto it, you'll feel it kind of deform. I'm gonna take a little bit of brake parts cleaner, and I like to just clean everything up. All right, so now for up top, you need a really long funnel. I'll leave all these parts in the description below for the fluid and the funnel. You want to make sure you get that funnel all the way down in the hole. Okay, make sure you get it in the hole. See, as you can see, this funnel fits perfectly. And we will put our 3.25 quarts into the transmission. Have to estimate. Alright, that should be good. You want to take your funnel, let it drain for a minute, get this out, and we will put our dipstick back in. Okay, now we'll go in the car and start it up. Alright, now we're in the car. I'm gonna go ahead and start it up. And let it run for a little bit, just maybe 30 seconds to a minute, just to make sure the fluid is circulating. And you want to keep your foot on the brake, put it in reverse. Okay, let it go in reverse for a minute, pop it into neutral, put it down into drive, put it down to second, go down to first, go back to second, back to drive. We're just going through the gears. Neutral, reverse, park. All right, now we'll take the car for a little drive, not too far, just around the block, come back in, shut down the engine. Now we'll check our fluid. All right, so check our fluid. Go ahead and grab the dipstick and pull it out. Just like checking your oil, we're gonna wipe it off. And you want to check transmission fluid on a Honda with the engine turned off. I mean, it's warmed up a little bit, but it's pretty cold. The engine off. Make sure it's seated all the way. Go ahead and pull it out. Check your fluid level. So in our case, you can see the fluid is right almost at the top of the cross hatches, which is what we want. Obviously, it will expand a little bit when full. But that is what we want to see. I'll go ahead and do it one more time. Okay. So again, right where it's supposed to be. All right. So that is how you do it. Like I said, my plan is then to go 15,000 miles. And when I'm doing the oil change, I just did an oil change, so in 15,000 miles, which is a couple oil changes from now, I will go ahead and do the exact same thing again, and just do it every 15 to 20,000 miles, and it will keep your transmission happy, And like I said, there's no need to waste all that fluid. My opinion, but probably the opinion of a lot of other people as well. So hopefully the video was helpful. If it was, be sure to like it, subscribe for more, leave a comment below if you have any questions. And like I said, I'll have links in the description for all the parts and tools that you need to complete this job. We'll see you later.